Welcome. So this still is an indication of where my mood is today. Wrong intro song, but it was pretty. It worked. It played.
For a second, I was like, "Wait, am I playing? Oh, it's the song today. Okay, we're good."
Am I in the wrong show? What's happening here?
Oh my god!
And it's funny because I was just watching before we came on. For those of you that don't know, I love Hallmark movies, and I really love Hallmark Christmas movies. And right before we started, I was watching one where she goes back in time. She falls in love with this guy, and then he follows her back in the future. He's dating. So it's like, oh, so this song was very like
in that.
So yeah. Well, welcome everybody who all those watching us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. Thank you for joining us. My name is Daniel Garza, and
I am Richard Wayne Kilgo II.
And this is the Crab and Go Show. Welcome to the show. For all of our friends watching us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, you can comment on the page you're watching, and we will see your comments. For those of you watching us on Instagram, hello Instagram. We're keeping an eye on the page and taking out your comments. So if you wanted to be on the show, if you want reading, we can watch it and put you on. For those of you that are new to the show or watching it on replay, we've discovered that a lot of you come back and watch this show on replay. We thank you very much for watching it. If you're watching on replay, please comment and ask questions, and we're happy to come back and answer any questions you have, or throw in a couple of words of a little reading or wisdom, or just any questions you might have. If this is your first time watching the show, we start the show with a little chit chat. Normally, we would have a guest, which I forgot to email our guest. I think he's going to be here next week. I have him scheduled for next week. And so Christian Ramirez, my boyfriend and co-host on the Christian and Daniel show, for those of you that have known us for a while, he is an intuitive medium, and he will be our first guest on the show next week. So please stay tuned for that. He'll come in. Just for clarity, he's coming in just to talk about himself and talk about the services he provides. He will not be here for readings unless we can convince him to do a couple. We'll see what happens. And Wayne will do his intuitive readings and channeling. I will walk you through mini alignment, and then we'll open the door for folks who want a reading. So please stick around for that. How are you doing, Wayne?
I'm doing all right. I think that's the common theme, even with us pre-show. The energies continue to be intense. I definitely have been going through processes really the past 3 weeks, if not the last month. And it made sense to when I was looking at the astrology for today to kind of speak to it. Over the weekend, we had the moon in Pisces, which in that placement, it makes our emotions very Piscean energy. So it can feel like dreamlike. It can feel like, but it can also bring a bit of like heavier emotions in as well too, which I was definitely feeling for myself. I was very thankful this morning coming into today. We have moon in Aries, so that kind of fires us up and gets us ready to continue through. But I had my shift earlier at the shop today, and I will say I think I had 5 clients today, and the theme is definitely things are challenging. Things are still coming up. Things are boiling over. So just like everyone out there, I'm definitely being affected by those energies too. But I definitely feel like I'm finally coming to a place of more groundedness and ready to move forward. And actually, in preparation for your portion of the segment, I already wrote down my barrier. So I'm like, okay, I got it set up. I'm ready to go, ready for your alignment. But with that said, I think it's important to recognize, I feel like we all feel like we're heading towards something more right at this time. It feels like there is our goals that we've set. They feel like they're closer than ever, even though they're still a distance away. And I know a theme for me lately and a lot of my clients has been patience as well too, knowing that you're putting the right work in, doing the right things in the right ways, putting your vision out there, and being open to obviously feedback from the universe, from others. But yeah, so to answer your question, very long-winded, I'm okay. I'm doing okay. We're making our way through December.
I think it's the same time because I've been feeling it too. So I traveled this weekend to Palm Springs for work, and not a busy event. I went for a summit, 1-day summit, and I'm now the official director of anal cancer, HIV, and HPV. But we went to thank you. I officially accepted. I figure when they give you a business card and you take the business card, that is your yes. You can say whatever you want, but that is the yes. So I accepted my business card this weekend, and it was a small summit. We didn't do much, but for some reason I came home exhausted. We had a 3-hour brainstorming session with one of my coworkers over coffee at night, and I felt like I just. I don't know if it's going to make sense to anybody, but I feel like everything that I've accumulated, all the knowledge of 24 years of advocacy, working with other organizations, always being met with red tape and walls and blockages, barriers, to finally be in a space where I'm the director. I can put out the ideas, and there's really nobody saying, no, we can't do that, other than not being enough money. But there's nobody saying, I don't know about that. Everything was met with such love and support, and I think my subconscious didn't know what to do with that. So for those of you watching, please give us your feedback. Have you ever, or are you ever in a position where you have been met with so much resistance in your life that the moment that somebody completely opens the door to you, you don't know what to do? You yourself are looking, because I did it. I was going through my index cards of memories to find a way to block myself. And I'm like, Garza, you've paid your dues. Your resilience, your resourcefulness have finally paid off. It's okay to enjoy the moment, and how sometimes we don't know how to enjoy the moment. Does that make sense?
Yes. Well, I would say for you too, it's also recognizing, when people are, it makes sense for Capricorn to be in your position too, to be the director. That's really where your sign shines. But for you specifically, Daniel, I would say it is showing the work, the willingness that you've been able to put in, what the problem solving you've had to do. And so what I think is really neat for you in embracing this, and of course there are those times where you finally get what you've been wanting and it almost feels like impossible, surreal, this is actually happening. But what I think is great, and the reason that you likely in this setting have the free reign that you do, not only because you're that position, but you know what needs to be done. You've done it before. You've done it in so many ways, and there's ways that you've been operating that you've had future vision of, like, when I have the ability to, when I have the funding to, when I have the opportunity to, I'm going to do X, Y, Z. So I feel like you get to really enjoy this now of not necessarily having that restriction or someone restricting over you of what the vision and views are, because you have done so much work on the ground level that I have no doubt that whatever it is that you put forward will be successful. And not to be a naysayer, but if at some point you have something that comes through that doesn't hit the mark like you thought it would or you want it to, I know you're going to be willing to do the work to say, why didn't that work? Why didn't that happen? And so I think that makes you the perfect person to be in a position just like this and advocate, not just in this ways, but all the ways that you advocate through all of your experiences and the journey you've been on. So
well, thank you. I posted the question there in the are we too comfortable in the uncomfortable? And I think I lived in the uncomfortable for so long that I knew how to maneuver in that space. I knew how to get through the uncomfortableness. And now that it's comfortable, I'm uncomfortable. And the universe going, who understands you? Like, what do you want? So, yes. So I'm having a little discussion with the universe at the moment. And to try. It's kind of like having a partner who always snored, and then you finally stop snoring, and now you can't sleep.
Where's the noise?
You make start snoring for me, damn it. So, yeah, so that's where we are.
I bet you there's a video on YouTube for that. Someone snoring sound.
Snoring.
White noise, white person, white noise.
Right. You're like thunderstorms, ocean, snoring.
All those everyday noises that we have to get used to.
How was your weekend? What did you do this weekend?
So actually I did not do much. I had along with my emotional processing that I've been doing, I've been having kind of flare-ups with my aura migraine. So I had another flare-up on Friday, which kind of took me down for the count. And then Saturday, what did I even do? I feel like I don't even remember.
Oh, wow.
I mostly rested. I feel like for the most part, between yesterday, the day before, it was kind of just, I had other plans to get things done. Oh, I did have a massage on Sunday. It was nice. Like I woke up, did the massage, and then my headache was still too much. I was planning on seeing my sister, but I just had to come home and rest. So I will say I'm really proud of myself, because if I look back 6 months ago, maybe 6 months I was doing it, but about a year ago, one of the things that I feel like I really had to work on was my self-care and not pushing. Like kind of it's related to the topic that you're just speaking about too, where I would feel like out of my own safety, I would need to constantly be on going, what do I need to do? What do I need to make sure that this is coming, that this money's coming, that this is happening, that this opportunity is unfolding? And so I had a really hard time, 6 months to a year ago and all the time before, and allowing myself to rest. The only time that I could really truly rest is if I was super sick. And even when you're super sick, you don't necessarily get to rest, right? It's uncomfortable rest. But I've really tried to, when my body tells me, when I feel drawn, okay, today's an off day. Today's a day where I've done a lot of good work so far this week. I have work that I'm going to do later on. But at this moment in time, I'm just going to let myself rest without judgment, because that was the big thing. I knew how to sleep, but I'd sleep and then I'd wake up and then I would be judging. Oh my gosh, I've slept. Oh, now I can't get this done. Now I can't. And so now I'm like, if I'm going to sleep, I'm going to sleep. And when I wake up, I'm going to say, thank God for that nap. Thank God I was able to sleep. Thank God this was what was happening. So I'm really proud of myself and seeing how far I've come in allowing that self-help to, and like just letting myself rest. And then I feel like that's going hand in hand with, obviously when we come to the new year, and we've talked about this before too, do you set New Year's resolutions? Do you set goals? What does that look like? So something that I've been kind of focused on as of late with my health too is like, what can I do to bring in more physical activity, to appreciate my body more in that way, to take care of it better? And then from that food aspect too. So coming into the new year, I feel like I have that same focus where I want to double down on what can I do better. So overall, even though I pretty much just slept this week and I coming out of it, and it was emotional. I know I've said that a few times. I feel good about how I've been able to, come into a better state and balanced state of rest.
Yeah. Well, for those of you that don't know, are new to the show, we've been friends for quite a while now, and there's always a parallel in the way our relationship going. Oh, there's Iris. That's right. Embrace the rest. Strong word. Yeah. How dare you put me? All of a sudden we're turning to like kindergarten. I don't want a nap. I don't want to go to sleep because I'm going to miss something in the world. And how will the world revolve if I go take a nap? How will it know what to do if I'm not here to see? Yeah. But yes. So as I see that, I'm like, yes, embracing. I did take a nap. I had a couple of meetings today, and in between the meetings, I was like, you know what? There's some things that I have to review, but I'm not in the right space right now. So I'm going to rest, and I'm just going to stay up late later. I'm going to grab some coffee. I have some chocolate cake in the fridge. I'm going to nice. My cake and my chocolate. And then after dinner, I will sit down and review what I have to review. And I'll probably do it a lot faster, and I'll be more concentrated. And I can finish it, and that way I can go to bed and be like, I'm done with it. I'm done with the whole thing. So anyway.
So can I ask you, is that, I mean, I know how you operate to a degree. Do you feel like you've always been that way? Do you think that that's something that has shifted and grown into what it is now, like over the last 5 or 10 years? How did that unfold for you?
Yeah, no, I used to be, I would do the work. Well, I was corporate. I had a corporate, I come from business background. You got to do the work. It's due now, and everything's due yesterday. Everything was always due yesterday. You're already behind. So to even think about the possibility of taking a break was like, winners don't take breaks. Winners. Winners don't take breaks. You keep going. It's been ever post cancer is when, through some support groups, they were like, when I'm tired, I go take a nap. And I was like, in what world? Like, how dare
Who are you?
and for this, and actually this is my thought. It's like, white privilege. Of course, that's why you do this, because you're a woman. Because all the reasons why other people could do it and I couldn't. Until one day it was like, my therapist was like, what will actually happen if you take a 30-minute nap, get refreshed, get up and continue with what you were doing, and now you're refreshed and you want to do it versus, and that's where my teaching people about acknowledging the meditation time, for those of you watching, if you're not a morning person, why are you trying to meditate or pray in the morning? If you're not into it, I mean, God doesn't want to listen to your angry prayers. The universe doesn't want your half-baked meditation. The universe is like, you know what? I'm just gonna give you your money back and come back another time. And now I do. I will work. I'll have a really busy meeting. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna take 20 minutes to just watch some TikToks, lay back for a little bit, disconnect, and then I'll be back. And then by the time I get back, I'm like, oh, let's do this. Let's get ready for it. So anyway, yeah. But it was cancer that taught me how to do that. So
cool. Yeah.
So let's get started. Are you ready for your segment?
Let's do it.
Okay.
All right. So let me pull up my notes and see what we have going on. So obviously, each week as we talk about the astrology, I'm looking at the broader strokes, shall we say. It's just the, I do speak to kind of the outer planets somewhat, which those ones are much more slow moving. And the inner planets are the ones that tend to move much faster. We still have a lot of Sagittarius energy happening. We still have the sun in Sagittarius. Obviously, we're about midway through the sign. Mercury is also still in Sagittarius. It is retrograding, and it will be going direct on the 15th, which is also our full moon in Sagittarius. So the Sagittarius energy is definitely front focused, up front in our faces, which again, the energy of Sagittarius to me breaks down to why. There's the questioning of why is this happening? What is happening? And then there's also that passionate part of Sagittarius, the one that wants to have fun, the one that wants to be where the action is. So it's kind of like that energy is really at present for us with the sun energy and with Mercury, how we communicate. But again, with Mercury being retrograde, it's kind of taken that offline and it's upgrading that aspect of us. So it's likely that what we're going through and what we are having come up for us emotionally, our challenges, our blockages at this time, are very much related to trying to determine why certain things have either happened in the past or trying to determine why things are happening now. Why do we need to know this? Why is this important to me? So know that we're kind of being questioned, and anything that's coming up at this time, it's all to serve the purpose of asking yourself why. Why do I feel this way? Why is this still coming up? Why haven't I been able to process through this? Why is this the consistent theme? The other thing that I'll speak to, and I kind of said this during our initial talk, we went through the weekend, which had the moon in Pisces, which makes it very emotional. So it's likely this weekend for a lot of people had that kind of vibe. Coming into this week, I've also pulled the tarot for the week. It looks like it's going to be a very mental week. It's going to be a week of kind of addressing challenges, addressing our ego to a degree. But overall, this is a kind of, it feels like a slow build to the full moon in Sagittarius, which is going to give us more of, I think, the answers. So I feel like the questions of why are coming up, or we're asking the question why. And I feel like when we come into Sunday, And if you really take some time on Sunday as the full moon is peaking, it looks like it's going to peak at 10:26 a.m. Eastern time, so about 7:26 here on the West Coast if you're here out in California. So Sunday's a really good day to just be receptive. So if you want to put things out to the universe and asking, why is this happening? Why can't I get over this? Why is this block still here? Ask those questions now, contemplate that in meditation, however you want to approach that. And then once we get to Sunday, allow yourself to go into meditation and just receive. Be open to the universe in whether it's meditating and feeling what comes through, maybe a message comes through in that moment, or it's letting yourself just take some time out so that on Sunday, the message can be delivered. And I feel like intuitively, I'm getting chills that there will be a really strong understanding of what it is that you have been facing. And especially, I know I've spoken about this as well too, the astrology of this time, this year, is more intense than pretty much the last few decades, I would say. So this is very intense times. This is a lot of old karmic energy stuff that we've been carrying with us from childhood and forward, and that we're all processing through. So before I move on to the cards of the week, the other thing I just want to speak to is December is still going to be somewhat challenging. It still has that energy of things coming up to be addressed so that they can be released while continuing to vision your future. I know I said this last week as well too. So knowing that as you continue to release things, check back in with what your future sight is. It's likely that as you let some of these things go, what you were wanting to head towards or what you were planning towards doesn't really have that same significance or that feeling of like, that's where I want to go. So this is still a time and a month of clearing out. And then coming into January, like I've said before, it feels like it's going to be that breath of fresh air. So with that said, we'll look at the cards for the week. So Monday, today, we have the Two of Swords reversed. So this is definitely a day of recognizing where we've been stuck, where we've been refusing to see the truth, where we've been turning our backs on ourselves. So if you've been having things come up today, this is likely the energy that you're facing, and it's all with the energy of helping you to come into a better understanding of where haven't you been really seeing the truth or looking for the truth. Tuesday, we have the Page of Swords, so another swords here. So tomorrow, it's likely that there may be some messages that come through, especially with that moon in Aries. We might have a message come through that is challenging to hear. Maybe it's not delivered in the best way, but it's something that will help us to understand, again, another step closer to the why of whatever it is that we're feeling most blocked by or challenged by at this time. And then Wednesday is the Five of Swords, another sword. I call this card the card of looking at the collateral damage of what has happened and being able to move forward, knowing that it's time to move forward, but what do I need to tend to that has been damaged or hurt so that I can address it and then move forward. So definitely another kind of like contemplative day, I think, mentally. It doesn't feel like the emotions will really come along with this. I think there'll be feelings with it, but it's kind of much more mental energy right now. Thursday, we have the Four of Pentacles reversed. So Thursday can be a day where we feel like maybe we're out of control. We're not necessarily feeling valued, whether it's in relationships, whether it's in work, career, out in the world. But there's definitely a sense of recognizing where do you feel like you're out of control or that you don't have control over something that is valuable to you, the way that you operate. That will definitely be coming up, and it's likely going to trigger you on Friday in your ego. We have the Devil reversed on Friday. So this is, again, kind of a challenging week, I feel like, is coming through. The energies of the week are ones that are bringing up a lot of our long-term issues, our long-term confusion, our long-term thoughts and goals. And then coming into the weekend, so on Saturday, we have the Eight of Wands. So starts having more quick action. Things will start to be able to move forward more quickly. But what's interesting, so with that card, Saturday, it's like things start moving forward. And then Sunday, when we have the full moon, we have the Nine of Swords. So there is this sense of peaking in the challenge. So the questions that you're asking why, the way your emotions may get triggered, your thoughts may be triggered earlier in this week, it'll culminate on that full moon. But it's like once that comes forward and you're really able to see this nightmaric situation in full view, I feel like that's where it's going to be much easier to be able to start releasing those things as the full moon starts going to a new moon. So again, intense times that we're in. I can't wait until we're in January and can start really feeling out this breath of fresh air that I feel has been coming, both in my intuitive work, in the work I'm doing for clients, and my guides as well too. So just be aware. Forewarned is forearmed, I would say.
Oh, I like that. I keep forgetting that I'm supposed to be arranging my cards while I'm listening to you.
I pull them right in.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, whatever he's saying, Oh, wait, it's my turn. I have a
Oh,
segment.
just kidding.
Am I part of the show? Are you sure?
I'm ready for yours now. Come on, let's do
I'm
it.
ready. So for everybody, we are ready. If this is your first time visiting us, this is a mini alignment. I'm a transpersonal coach, spiritual and life coach. And my coaching program is called The Alignment. We're here to acknowledge, identify, and break down barriers that are holding you back personally or professionally. And I'm going to put Wayne in the green room so he work on his while we're talking. So first thing you want to do is pull out your pen and paper if you have it ready. I'll give you a couple of seconds. And on your paper, I want you to write down today's date, which is December 9th, 2024. Along with the time, it is now Pacific time is 5:25. And again, I remind you the reason we do this is so that you can be consistent on the times when you meditate or the times that you journal, all the things that have to do with your energy. Like find the consistency in times, because that when you're putting the same amount of energy into it. If it's not working, then you change the times. Number 3, what is your barrier this week? What are you holding on to that is blocking you from growing personally, professionally? And I'm going to go slower because I was given a note that I talk too fast sometimes. So I'm going to slow down. We're going to slow down the alignment a little for you folks. We got about 15 minutes before we start doing readings. And remember, hold on. After the alignment, we will start with the readings. And all you got to do is do me in the comment section, and we will get you going. This goes for the folks watching on Instagram as well. We are keeping an eye on the Instagram page. So if you just type me, we will move it over to our regular, and we will be next. All right. So number 1, first word on is your foundation. This is your root chakra. And just so you know, the number today, the way that I'm pulling out the cards, somebody asked me, just like, how do you know which number card to pull? I'm taking it by the date. So I'm adding up the dates. So today's date is 12/9/2024, which is 9 and 1 is 10, and 4 and 4 is 8, and 2 is 20. So it's 20. So today I'm pulling out card number 2. And I'll do that with everyone. Just so you know, in the future, I consider I add up all the numbers. Copy. And so number 2. So the first word is your foundation word, your root chakra is financial. How is your financial situation affecting your barrier? Let me clarify. There are different styles of financial situations. Number 1, there's a mental financial. Yes, mental financial is all the things that you're learning in school, at work, in life. There is the spiritual financial situation, which is, does it make me feel good or make me feel bad? And then there's the physical, which is, show me the money. Number 2 word is, and this is your balance or your sacral. The word is male. This is male energy right now with us. The male energy is the hunter, it's the gatherer, is the fighter, is the protector. So is your male energy out a little bit? And usually the male energy is the one that carries the ego. For some reason, I was guided to say that. So is your ego getting in the way of you reaching the financial security that you want? And that's what's helping your barriers stay there. Word number 3 is mood. This is your power in your solar plexus. What's your mood like these days? And we were just talking about that at the beginning of the show. So I'm giggling because we both started. If you didn't hear us at the beginning of the show, go back and watch the beginning. We were talking about how our moods are being affected right now. And is your mood affecting your male energy, which is affecting your financial situation, which is messing with your barrier? And the power and the solar plexus right here, right? Everybody knows the belly. This is where our intuition, our gut feelings, our knowings. Number 4, my therapist would love this. Forgive. This is the intake, the heart chakra. This, I think I've mentioned it. This is the little receptionist we have in our heart. And it's in charge of separating everything that comes. We've heard the term, you're taking this to heart. because it comes to the heart first, and then from there we decide what chakra or what level it goes to. So is what we're taking in or what we took in, are we not able to forgive the people, places, and things in our lives? Man, it's like, this is like therapy this morning for me. I had therapy. I have therapy on Mondays. I don't know why I have therapy on Mondays before show, because like I'm all in my emotions and my feelings about all this. Okay, number 5, communication, and this is your throat or your voice or your throat chakra. We talked about this. How do you communicate to yourself first? Because if I am not kind to me, most likely I am not going to be kind to other people. And the truth will always reveal itself. How many of you, and you don't have to raise your hand, but you can comment, I do, because I do it. How many of us, when we ask ourselves in the morning, after something tragic, after something traumatic, after a hard weekend, how are you doing, Garza? I'm fine. Yay. And then other people start asking you, and people can see that you look like you've been mauled by lions. And they're like, how are you doing? And you're like, I'm fine. Things good. And we're not. And then we start to resent that people aren't being more responsive to our needs and fix our mood. And then we get all like manly, like macho, and then affects the way we are receiving and holding on to financial security, be it mental or physical. Or spiritual. Does that make sense? We go so far? All right. Number 6, card number 2. This is your brow, your third eye, your vision. This is your, it's in Spanish. This is your goals. This is for how are your goals being affected? Give me just 1 second, guys. I actually forgot, and I'm going to send it to him right now. Christian was supposed to be with us today. Okay, he'll be with us in just a minute. So our goals, how are your goals being affected? Because if our communication is off and we're out here fighting the world to find our place, then we're not really paying attention to our goals and where we're going. And here's a connection between the vision, the brow chakra, and your financial and your root chakra. If your goals are not serving your foundation anymore, then why are we going after the same goal? Some goals are not meant to recycle. Some goals are not meant to keep going. If we didn't complete them 5 years ago, maybe it's time to renew our goals. Excuse me. Pardon me. And finally, that was a spiritual sneeze, folks, right there. And finally, the number 7 is, attached to your goals. What's your life purpose? What is your life purpose? So that's number 7. And this is where the universe, life, God, they're sending you the message to let you know, like, hey, this is what you should be doing with your life. And we were just also talking about this before the show started. I recently started a new job, and I didn't know that would be my life purpose. I didn't know that was going to be part of it. But there came the universe, and it was like, hey, I've got a new goal for you. And I was like, no, I don't want it. I want to keep doing what I was supposed to be doing with my life. Like, I was supposed to marry rich, be a kept wife, but that didn't happen. All right, so here is your here is the mantras for this week. In order to find my financial satisfaction, let's say that, I need to focus on my male energy. I know you can't see all of it, my male energy. So I can adjust my moods, forgive what I haven't completed, better communicate with myself and others, so I can reach my goals and achieve my life purpose. Or in order to live my life purpose and reach my goals, I need to learn to communicate better, forgive the things that didn't work out so I can adjust my mood, care for my male energy, and receive the financial security I'm looking for. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I'm looking at, for everybody that doesn't know about, okay. Sorry, producer, trying to do three things at one time. I'm going to bring Wayne back in so we can talk about how that worked out. How did that sound for you, Wayne?
It was way off, and this makes no sense. No, I'm just kidding. It could not be more spot on for myself. And I mean, I've had a common theme in my barriers. I've also been keeping each of them so I can kind of look back and see how I'm progressing and dealing with these barriers. But I actually wrote this one down before we started the show today because I know that otherwise I won't have enough time to think, oh, what is it? So but my motivation is sapped. And of course, I've talked about, I've been doing emotional processing. And then my prior weeks that are still kind of flowing over is this feeling of there's so much that I want to do. And then I'm going into inaction because I feel like there's too much that I want to do and I can't get anything done. So with this totally made sense because obviously the big thing for me is this is based on financial of wanting to make sure that I'm continually bringing in what I need to bring in. It's definitely that male masculine energy of do that I feel like I'm needing to do. My mood is a huge part of it. If my mood is not feeling it, this is me. I'm realizing my mood is showing me that some of these things aren't serving me anymore. What is it? If I'm not motivated to do it, then why am I not doing it? Because I'm not feeling it. And it is for me, I need to forgive myself for not getting everything done in 2 seconds. Like I feel like I should, my brain puts it together. So that totally vibes and better communicate. So this is better communicating, I think, for myself, with myself, and understanding what am I talking about. And then there's many partners that I work with in life. You're one of the partners now that I've continued to work with, right? But now that we have the show going again, I consider you one of my business partners, with Iris as well too. Iris is one of my business partners. And so it's me recognizing how can I better communicate for myself to those goals. And it all leads to life purpose for sure too, of I'm really wanting to come into a better, not just understand, I know what I'm here to do. I know what I have to offer at this point. I know that there may be shifts as things continue forward, but I think I have been struggling more with that feeling of knowing that I'm making that impact. And so this kind of helps me to realize and go back and see what is my long-term vision and what things have I been maybe trying to work towards that don't necessarily support that vision anymore. It's actually very much what I said too in my section too. So totally spot on. It definitely is totally resonates with me.
Yeah. And I always like to take the foundation and the crown, because you have to circle, you don't have to, folks, but the way that I work, I like closing the circle up and see how that's going to work out. Because if my life purpose, or what I've determined to be my life purpose, is not bringing me the financial security that I want, mental, physical, or spiritual, then why am I doing it? Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? And interesting enough, I was talking to my therapist this morning about it. Can't stand her sometimes, but I was talking to my therapist, and we were talking about the way that I was brought up with my parents by work. For them, work was, it wasn't about finding satisfaction in the work that you did. It was just about go work, make money, save it for something, and go back the next day. You just kept doing it. Rest the weekends, go back on Monday. There wasn't this whole what's the life purpose? What is, you don't have to find a job you like. Yeah. I remember telling my dad, I want to go study something so I can do a job that I like. He was like, nobody likes their job. Nobody likes their, and I was like, and that's when I figured out for him, it was just a job. It was not his life work. It was not his life purpose to work in a factory, 50 hours a week, wake up in the dark, come home late, be tired all the time. That was not his life purpose. So there was never anything other than the material that he was gaining. But some of us are like, no, I want to do my work. I don't want to do a job. So I hope that makes sense to you. That is the alignment for the week. And we actually, I forgot to send him the right link, so that's on me. But we have a guest today. I'm going to bring him on board. There he is. Hi, Christian.
Hello. How are y'all doing?
As the little light came on, hola.
Hello.
Grand reveal.
Welcome to Christian the Mystic. No, that's all a bunch of hoo. I know. Oh, I feel it, Daniel. I feel the energy. It's incredible.
Well, so much for being shy.
No, but hello, and thanks for inviting me, Daniel. And
Christian is our first guest on the Crab and Goat Show.
I am the first guest.
You're the first guest, so welcome.
Thank you.
So introduce yourself and tell folks a little bit about what you do.
My name is Christian Ramirez. I am an interesting medium. I do see ghosts. I do see spirits. I don't hear them. I'm an empathic. Excuse me. I'm an empathic medium, so I feel. They send me their feelings, and I usually can. They're pretty easy to interpret. But a lot of times, what I've been doing with clients is I meet with my clients. I consult my grandfather, who's my primary guardian, and he usually communicates directly with their spirit guardians, and he brings me messages. For some reason, with him, I really am well. Of course, he's my main guardian, so I'm very tuned into him. So I have an easy time interpreting what he says, because a lot of times my clients are asking questions about their lives, their directions, what's going on, and just overall improvement, like life improvement. And I use my connection with my grandfather and the other and through the veil to help guide them in the right direction in their lives and guide them with some good decisions. So it's kind of like spirit. It's like ghost life coaching. So, it's like life coaching, but, I can't claim that because I'm not a certified life coach. So I can't. I'm a life coach. It's like someone saying, I'm a teacher. No, you're not. You haven't done the work, baby.
Afterlife coach.
Exactly. So I don't want to take a title I don't deserve. So I'll just say I do that type of work. It's just I'm not official. So I'm not going to claim it because I know how hard Daniel worked to get his certification to be the life coach he is. But that's basically a good summary of what I do with my work. I love doing it. It's easy. It can be done virtually, in person. And I don't usually like doing it over the phone. For some reason, I can't get a good connection over the phone with people. It's difficult. So I really do prefer to do a Zoom session. And just work from there. You have questions, you have doubts, you have feelings. I have clients who have gone from self-doubt, being at their very bottom, or at least what they perceive as a bottom in their life. And now they are, they're glowing, they're full of energy, they're full of life. They're no longer seeing things the same way. They've gotten rid of those negative sunglasses that some of us like to wear, or that we get stuck in sometimes. And they're seeing the light. They have grown so immensely in such a short time. It's amazing that when you listen to your spirit guides and you take a little direction, how much you can change your life, folks. So I'm here to give you that connection. I'm here to help you get that guidance, and I'm happy to do it. I wish I could do it more often for myself, but it's, again, like many things in this particular realm, you can't do it for yourself. You can do it for everyone else, but I can't do it for myself. And that's an empathic medium.
When you're working, Christian, and you have a client that you're working with, because we all have different ways that we know we're connecting. I always feel like it's like when you turn the TV on, old TVs, and they start scrambling, you're like, okay, I'm getting a connection. Something's coming through. How do you know that you are receiving a message versus?
For me, I get extreme chills. Like I literally could see the bumps in every hair. I don't have much hair on my arms, but what little is there, it stands up on end. And I could feel like I get the really extreme chills every time I'm on the right path and I'm saying the right thing. I think that's what my grandfather has figured out is that that's the best way to let me know I'm on the right track. Is he gives me, it could be 105 degrees in the room and I'll still get the extreme chills if I'm correct. So it does not matter what environment I'm in, because those chills aren't coming from the outside, they're coming from the inside. And that lets me know that I'm on track. Every time I acknowledge them, I always go, "Ooh, I got the chills," so I know I'm saying the right thing. People, my clients laugh, but they know it's true. It's just like how some people I've known in the past say, I say this with love, and people just giggle because they know what you're going to do. They know what you're going to say, and they know that that's just your sign. That's your way. And it's the same thing with me. I get those chills, and it's always on my arms. It's never on my neck or my legs. It's always on my arms. Both arms will just get chills.
And is it like for instance, and when you can jump in on how you get it. For me, it's just words. Like here's a word, like tomato. Say tomato, and I'd be like, oh, why tomato? And people will go, oh my God, my grandfather was Italian and made pasta, like whatever. How do you, Wayne, to get your messages?
My mother ate tomatoes.
Oh my gosh, that's it. So for me, it has progressed over time. So the more that I have utilized my intuition, especially over the last 2 years, stepping into this professionally, with more like consistent hours dedicated to it. For me, it started out much more in that empathetic way. So when I would intuit information, it would be a feeling that would give me information. So I could kind of like feel this is what it feels like, and speak to it. And then as I've worked more, it's definitely turned into more clear cognizance, where I don't necessarily know why I know it, but I know it. I have no doubt. And it's like, I know I describe it a lot of times with my clients too. I can feel it here. So when I check into my intuition, I can feel it and I can know, yes, this is accurate. No, this doesn't resonate. No, this does not. So, and I think it's as with any talent or skill or, thing that we have, the more we work with it, the more it will progress and change and shift. And one of the best ways is practice, practice, practice. So, even as a professional, there's still practice that's needed to have that come through. And I love for you, Christian, too, that like when something works, spirit makes it work. They will say, this is what this is. And I know I talk with Iris a lot about this. Anytime I know that there's a spirit close by or something trying to attach to me, I have this physical spot in my brain right here that I will feel like it's like a headache that's about to start, but it's only in one spot. And so my body, and I've kind of confirmed with my spiritual team that, if there's an attachment, let this be the feeling so that I know that it's there, so I can do something about it before it becomes too much. So I can help either the spirit that's here or just clearing out that stagnant energy, whatever random thought form I may be walking into at the store. So I love, because that physical part too, it makes it so real, right, Christian, where it's like, you have no doubt it's happening. This is resonant. So
like I always say, I know I'm on the right path, because when those chills hit, I'm like, thank you. I needed I think my grandfather knows I need that. I need that validation more.
Yeah.
It happens quite a bit because I need it. I like to get it more, so I feel more confident in what I'm saying.
Absolutely. And I will say too, for anyone that's interested, I know both Christian and Daniel, they have been on, I can't remember the name of it, I apologize, but on YouTube a couple of times doing house hunt, ghost speaking, I guess. I don't know what you guys would call it, but I highly recommend. I really enjoyed those episodes that I've seen of you guys doing that. And I'm sure we've talked before, Christian, too, but I'd be interested, when did you first realize you had this gift? What was it that brought it forward, and what did you start to do to embrace it more once you realized that you had the gift?
Well, it's interesting. I actually had the gift from very young age, but I didn't embrace it, of course. Being raised Catholic, you really are not taught. You're taught, that's the occult. Don't embrace, devil, demon, devil. Like, whatever. But back then, I kind of avoided it. Then when I met Daniel, it wasn't too long before Light Nights started. Which was a program, basically a program of study, I guess, a very casual program of study for a group of us who were all had intuitive abilities, but we hadn't quite woke up yet. We hadn't woke up into them. And that group really helped. I think everyone in that group, even some of the most dysfunctional members, I think there's only one person.
I'm just kidding.
How dare you, sir? End of conversation.
That's it. Thanks. Only one person I could think of that didn't really have, didn't have a natural talent, so nothing really developed. But the individuals found other ways to dip into spirit and work near spirit adjacent. I'll say spirit adjacent. But I think for a majority, almost I'd say 99% of us all had some latent ability. And that's where I really came into my own, because I'll never forget, I think it was the second or third meeting of the Light Nights. We were all sitting in the living room, in Angie's living room. And I know, folks, if you don't, you may not even know what I'm talking about. A large living room with a sectional couch. And that was the first place where I started to see the shimmer. It's not really a shimmer. It's like, well, it is like a shimmer. Like you're looking at a clear curtain moving in the wind, but you could barely see it. So it just shimmers in the light. I started to see shimmers. And that same night, about midway through that night, I started seeing spirits start actually materializing. I could see the dark hair, the dark eyes, not black eyes, but just dark eyes, dark hair. I remember the first person I ever saw was this little girl who was attached to one of our female members, and she was wearing a very like a 70s kind of cutesy dress, like a short dress that people like to put their daughters in when they thought they were being cute, and it had a lot of embroidery on it. And she had the little ankle high socks that had the little lace fold over, and she was wearing tan or brown, like dark brown colored little strap shoes, which I personally have never liked. But I go, she should have been in a heel. No, anyway, sorry, that's just me being silly, folks. But no, she was in that little outfit. I saw the whole outfit. I could see the defining characteristics of her face. And when I described her to this individual, they said, "Oh my God!" Like, I think she said it was her aunt, but when she was young, because she died fairly young, and she was just. And when that was the first time I had any real validation that what I was seeing was real, that it wasn't just me creating it in my head, and that was really the first time. And and then from there, more meetings, more light nights, until light nights, came its full circle for all of us. And then we were meeting on our own sometimes. We the three of us would hang out sometimes, and it would and whenever this group got together, guys, woo, the energy that would just be, that house was like an energy matrix. It was, if spirits are attracted to energy, that house was attracting everyone in freaking Orange County to come in and sit down. Because I saw a lot of spirits there. I saw so many, and I realized, it was us. Like, the energy attracts. So, and I always tell people, stop being scared of spirits. Stop being scared of ghosts. Poltergeists, yeah, they could be a little scary because they want to be, but your fear is what feeds into it. You make it what it is. If you're just seeing these beings and going, welcome, you're here, or you're saging regularly, you're taking care of your home. Because I read this recently. I can't remember where I read it, but that your home has a spirit too. Mm-hmm. Like, your home actually is its own spirit, and you need to honor that spirit and thank that spirit once in a while, for protecting you, because that spirit does protect itself. Thus, it's protecting you when you're inside of that spirit, and that this whole home has its own spirit. That's why when you walk into some people's houses, you're like, You're like, oh, we're going, let me just head out right now, and while other people, you're like, oh, this is really nice. I want to go sit down and talk for a little bit. Let's have a glass of wine before we head out. It's interesting. And my homes used to always be, everyone wanted to leave immediately. They'd come in, go, and let's go. No one ever wanted to sit down and talk or stay. And now I feel like it's kind of, all these years later, decades later, it feels like it's the opposite. Now people come and they don't want to go. They just want to stay in the house and sit and chat. And it's because it's a difference in the way I try to thank my house regularly, my house spirit. I thank my grandfather fairly frequently. And then I sage. I do all these basic protective things in my home. I have crystals that I have charged around the house. I just basically protect my home and make sure, anything with ill intent or darkness isn't going to be able to enter my home.
Well, that's a good segue, because we're almost running out of time, but we want to make sure I show your information. Tell people where they can find you and how they connect with you.
Well, you can connect with me in either via email, which I'll respond to is pretty darn quick, You could text me at my phone number, 310-754-9157. Texting is probably, for this type of work, texting is probably the best way to do it. If I don't recognize a phone number, I don't answer it. Just the era we live in. So I usually, but a text, you at least can identify yourself and I'll know who I'm connecting with. And like I said, one-on-one groups, in person or virtual. Talking on the phone verbally does not really work well for me. So I'll just reemphasize that. So any of those other virtual ways will work.
Cool. Well, thank you for being our first guest. And for those of you that don't know, Christian and I co-host the Christian and Daniel Show on Wednesdays. And so if you want to talk to him more or hear more about what he does, join us every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for the Christian and Daniel Show. Thank you, babe. Thank you for being our first guest.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting me have some time, and thank you for having me.
I love you. Talk to you later.
Love you too. Love you, Wayne. Bye.
Love you.
Excellent. Our first guest. Woohoo!
Success.
All right, folks. Thank you for waiting. We're trying to experiment with this with our guests. So thank you for having your patience. But we're going to start doing card readings. When you want to start with, I know we have some people that were on hold from Instagram, correct?
Yes.
Since they're on your Instagram, how do you want to do it?
I would say, I just got to see Diana recently. It's the Diana you know. Do you want to go ahead and take her? And then I will take Kim, who also responded on my Instagram.
Excellent.
And while you're shuffling, I'll give you a little time. I feel like we should have at most offers out to our light night people, even just to check in if they're not necessarily doing direct spiritual work. But I'd be interested to hear, because obviously you hear from your boyfriend. He's your boyfriend. You see him frequently.
Is that what he was?
I know, right? Strange. But I would love to. I mean, if we did a reunion too, even if we did another, I feel like it's been a few years since we did our light night lunch or dinner in Laguna.
Yeah.
6 or 7 years ago now that I think about it. But it'd be cool to see that reunion and have, our other light night people on the show, just to see, that was definitely a pivotal time for all of us to grow and develop and support each other and be vulnerable. It's not easy being vulnerable in a space like that. So.
And Jessica, I think the word that Christian was trying to look for, we were a mastermind group. We were there to support each other and learn. And this is how most of us learn the different crafts. We each have our own specialty, but we all know a little bit of pendulums and psychometry and energy and colors and candles and artwork. And we've all experienced everything. So we may not do everything expertly, but we have those in our toolbox. So it's definitely a plus. All right, so I'm gonna put Wayne in the green room. All right, Diana, hi, welcome to the show. And of course I know Diana, how are you doing? So first card, yesterday, take no offense. There are some things that are happening around you. It's not about you right now. So make sure that you do not hold on to that energy. We were talking in the alignment about things coming to your heart. Those things come into your heart right now. They're not for you. They're not about you. And they're not for you to hold on to. It's okay to receive them, acknowledge them, validate them, and then send them on their way. Otherwise, you're going to put some more energy in your heart that you don't need right now, because it's blocking your light. Spread the light is upside down. So it is blocking your light from shining the way that you want to. Now, let me clarify for some people, because some people come to me and they're like, my light is shiny. It's not stopping me. I'm still successful. Yes, but there are certain things that linger that, although we can continue, I will put it this way. I'm a recovering alcoholic. There was a lot of things that I could do functioning with alcohol in my system. It doesn't mean that I was like completely in the moment. So for you to be completely in this moment, we got to let go of some of those things that are happening. Because I say this with love, get over yourself. It's upside down. In order to get back to you, in order to bring that energy back to you right now, do not hold ownership over the energy that's happening around you, because it's not for you. It is, you just have to be in the presence of it. Your spirit, it's that keep dancing, it's upside down. Loyalty, love, compassion, sometimes they make us stop to take care of the people around us. But the people around you, I say this with love again, they really don't need you to do that much for them. Just be supportive. Let them make the mistakes. Let them fall. Excuse me, let them hurt themselves. They need this in order to move forward, because your heart wants to have fun. And the stop is upside down. What we need to work on is learning when to stop. Know when to just say, this is so like, not my circus, not my monkeys. It's what's coming to my mind. So some of these things are not about you and they're not for you. So it's important for you to let them go. And the outcome of this is the new beginning. There's a new beginning coming for you. And I feel like your energy is being very resistant to letting go of these energies, which are people, places, and things, in order to begin a new one. But it's going to have to happen. Either you're going to do it on your own or the universe is going to push you. So it's not about you. Don't be offended. It's not about you. So it's okay for you to have fun. So stop doing so much. Take care of yourself. Keep moving. Keep dancing. Because this is not about you. It's about other people taking care of their own bull. For you to continue to spread your light, you're going to have to start something new. So I hope that helps. But right now, and Wayne, you can help me here on this one, particularly with people in our first ripple effect, partners, parents, siblings, children, that we see them in trouble and we're like, what can I do? And even when they say nothing, I got to take care of myself. You're like, nope, I'm already making some calls. I don't know who, but I'm calling somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And then we start drowning in that energy, and it doesn't go anywhere. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. When I think that's where it's interesting, because I know when we think about the term enabling, right? When we're enabling someone's behavior or we're enabling someone to not face it, I know a lot of times, depending on how our friends are, how they operate, it's important to hold space for them and know what they do need too, right? Because of course you want to show up. I know if there's something that I need that you'd be able to support me in, if I was to reach out, I know you would be there. But I think it's also having that discernment too of recognizing and being able to thank people for showing up and just saying, I only need you to hold space, or I want more. I want you to support me in this way. So it's an interesting dynamic. And I think the important part is to always trust whoever's needing the support to know that they can call upon you, offer it up. And if they don't take you up on it, then I feel like it's part of their lesson and part of what they're needing to experience in whatever that situation is.
I'm listening. There are chimes.
It's our front door.
Is that your front door? I thought it was the chimes here, because sometimes the chimes, I can hear them. I'm like, man, they're going wild. Okay.
Yeah, no.
So
Zab home from work.
You're going to do Kim, which is next. Perfect. And then I know Gabe. So will you take Gabe and then I'll take Iris?
Sure. Yeah, that sounds good.
Excellent.
All right. So, Kim, I know I was supposed to connect with you. I'm going to have to get with you some point this week so we can connect and swap, but I pulled a spread for you. So with that said, starting at the heart of your spread, you have the Queen of Swords. So you are currently in a phase of really utilizing your mind, your communication skills, and trying to be discerning with those facilities. So that's like really what you're focused on, and you're really using your mind to look at your whole situation. So your challenge card or your crossing card is the world. So I feel like there's a lot of and I know this, like with the astrology of the moment, there's a lot of processing happening. There's a lot of releasing of old energies, of things that aren't serving us. And so it feels like you're really working through, from a mental perspective, what beliefs are no longer serving you. What ways have you felt disconnected from the reality of the world, how things are actually playing out, and how certain beliefs have not been serving you in your outlook. And so what's interesting is, while there's this discernment of your mind happening, your theme card is the King of Cups. So this is affecting your past, present, and future. So it's like I feel like at this time, you're really having a lot of mental, like, oh, I realize this is why this is. Oh, this is a belief that I've had that I need to really look at. This belief no longer serves me. So it's like these beliefs are flowing down into your emotions, and you're able to actually feel like things are shifting and moving. Whereas before, maybe you'd have an emotional realization and you'd feel that flow, but the mental part was still stuck. I feel like right now you are in a period where the mental is being acknowledged in a way so that you can see where it's not serving you. And that actually is causing a shift in your emotions, which is going to help you to address and completely clear out that situation. A lot of this is focused around love and intimate relationships. Your recent past card is the Lover's reverse. So where in relationships maybe weren't working out for you before, I feel like a lot of these realizations that are starting in your mind and flowing down into your emotional self are really about not just love of others, intimate love with another, but it's that intimate love with yourself on a much deeper level. And you're really starting to understand your value now. You have the Queen of Pentacles in your current influences. So you understand your value more than ever. And I'm excited for you because I feel like there's this sense of like, I'm effing worth it. I am so worth it, where that was, I think, a big question for you before. So I love this for you because this shows that you're understanding your value and your worth as you move forward. And then future influences, you have the Three of Swords reversed. So where this trauma may have come up in the past and you haven't felt like you've been able to make a huge shift or a difference with it, with this being reversed, it's like those swords can finally be pulled out of your heart and they're no longer going to be affecting you in those ways. So the way that you are addressing your situation from that mental perspective, identifying those beliefs, and then letting your emotions flow from that space, that's the magic. That's where you're going to continue to understand and realize your value. Internal influence is what you have control over. You have the Knight of Swords. So there's this sense of wanting to continue to move forward with this energy, which I think it suits you right now, being in your mind a little bit more and letting your emotions flow from it. Because I feel like sometimes they combat and they battle each other, but you're really coming from a space now of, I'm making progress. I know this progress is being made. I'm not accepting what I would have accepted in the past. And so what the universe is giving you now is the Nine of Pentacles reverse. So knowing that you've tended to your garden well and recognizing where maybe there are certain ways that you can shift. And to me, it feels like a different way of living, a different way of expecting your day to be, a different day to day instead of what you've been going through or what you've had, because that feels like that's old programming. So with that, it's interesting what the universe would guide you to. You have the Six of Cups reverse. So this is a card of nostalgia, looking to the past, really like family upbringing. So with this being reversed, I feel like this is also that understanding that when a lot of trauma comes up for you, and as with most, and when it's in your childhood, when it's in your upbringing, it feels all encompassing and it always has reminders that go backwards. So I feel like in this way, it's also affirming with the universe as you deal with these things. I don't want to have this feeling about it anymore. I don't want to have this come up and be emotionally triggered by it. I don't want to be triggered by the situation any longer. So it's almost like the universe is telling you to, as you deal and process these things, say, okay, I don't want to be affected by this anymore. Let me be fully healed in this way. So with that said, your outcome card is the Four of Pentacles reversed. So there's a sense of needing to let go of control to a degree that you have needed to control for quite some time for what felt like your own safety. But in that need for control, you were still allowing people in the room, in the building, that were harming you, that were not serving your highest good. So these situations that you're coming through and these realizations that you're having that are flowing into your emotions, this is giving you a better way of understanding what your boundaries should look like to serve you for your highest good, and the beliefs around who deserves your time, who deserves information from you, who deserves your focus, your love, that type of situation as well too. So recognizing there's new foundations being built for you at this time. And that is what I have for you. I love you, Kim.
Awesome. Thank you for trying. I'm all chilling back. I tell you, whenever Wayne starts talking, I just chill back and I'm like, oh wait, you're directing this thing.
I'm the siren. I just bring you right in. Wow.
Thank you, Kim, for watching the show. And please tell your friends and family to watch. Remember, we're here every Monday at 5 p.m. This is a good time for Wayne. We want to show your first show.
Oh yeah. So if I remember correctly, slide 1 is going to be, yes, our this week's The Power of Rehutek Intro to Energy Work workshop. So Iris and I are holding this on Thursday, December 12th. So this Thursday from 6 p.m. to 8:30 at the Visions and Dreams bookstore in Costa Mesa. So this is a $44 investment and what to expect at the event. So we give you a brief intro of what Rehutek is. It's the ancient Egyptian energy modality. And so you'll get to learn a little bit about how this has been reawakened, brought into present times. We go through a few practices to help you learn methods to sense and perceive subtle energies. We do an energy healing transmission on each participant. So you get an energy clearing that serves you for your highest good. And then we give you a 7-day temporary attunement to Rehutek. So we give you a store of energy that you can utilize guys to play with. And we have 7 practices that you learn. So that way it's really about you after that day, that full week afterwards, experiencing the energy, utilizing it with the practices that we teach you, so you can really see how transformative this energy modality is. And it really does, it just empowers every intention. As we know, I speak to this often, Daniel is a level 1 Reiki practitioner, and I've loved the feedback that we've gotten from him. So if you're looking for a new way of slinging energy, if you're already a Reiki attuned Reiki master and you're looking to add more to your practice, add more power, add more intuitive energy to it, Reiki Tech is a great opportunity for you to test that out, especially this event. This is kind of our dip your toes in the waters of Reiki Tech to see if you feel like it might be working for you. And then if you like it, then we would invite you to do the full attunement training and certification, which is later this month.
Highly recommend. If you're already a Reiki, whatever level or master, and this is taking me to another level, so we can talk about more of that. All right, so we're gonna do Iris, and then Gabe, stick around. Wayne's gonna do, sounds weird. Wayne's gonna do Gabe live in a minute. All right, Iris, for you, here's what we have for messages. Number 1, thank God it's upside down. So there are things that, and the way I feel, usually I would say, oh, this is like a moment about you, but I feel like there are certain things that disconnected us slightly, or there are certain things that happened that disconnected us or created a glitch between you and the universe, God, life, that kind of made you question some things that were happening around, like, am I on the right path? Should I keep doing this? Am I, the ever classic, am I the right person for this? I mean, imposter syndrome is such a real thing, especially around energy workers. But in your today, here's the Love Your Body card. Now, I'm going to say that for this card, I'm going to look at 2 different parts. Number 1, with the imposter syndrome, there are changes happening physically when it comes. For those of you folks, I know Iris, so we know each other, but I feel like the way that your energy receives and gives energy, there's some shifts and movements happening that are kind of like, whoa, where is this coming from? But number 2, say this love. Take care of your body. Watch your body. Be one with your body. Connect. Accept the changes that are physically, not the energetic ones, but the physical things that are happening with your body. We have to acknowledge them. Make sure that you're aware of them and what is happening. Number 3, because here's you lending a hand. Your future, your outcome is about the more work that you're doing. Pay attention to travel. Pay attention to movement. Maybe heading somewhere to do lessons, helping somebody, being involved with people. But there's definitely some movement, and that's where you got to take care of your body right now. And your spirit, and this is why I say it with love, even the harshest of your words are being received in the most loving way. So trust that. I hope that made sense. Even the harshest words are being received with love. So, and it's interesting because next to your thank God, which was your past, in your heart is the say thank you. They're both upside down. There are things, and I say this for everybody listening, sometimes there are things that we're just not, like I love you, God, thank you, universe, yeah, hello, life, but I don't appreciate what is happening right now. I am not content with what is happening. And I feel like unless we address that uncomfortableness, we talked about this at the beginning of the show, unless we don't address the uncomfortableness, we will never come out of it. So what is it that really is ticking you off right now? And let's acknowledge that. Otherwise, you're not going to move beyond it. Because here's the start of new. Here's where we're going. There's some new beginnings. And I just said, some traveling, some moving, some changes, some physical movement coming up. And the overall energy, here you go. Starting new. And we have to clean up what's going on right now. Once you fix what's happening here, we'll be able to move on to the next chapter. So thank you for the good and the bad. Thank you for the good and the bad, because we're about to start some new things. And as long as you put the love out, you'll be able to help the people you want, but also receive the help that you need. Pay attention to your body, but clean up some of the loose strings that are there. Unless you do that, wherever you go, they're going to follow you. So be assured that, and this is for everybody. I talked about alcoholism too. They talk in AA. They talk to us about geography. Unless you clean up your mess, it doesn't matter where you go. The mess will follow you. So we need to clean up. So some of those things that are in your right now, ours that you're like later. It's later o'clock. We need to start taking care of those things. Yeah, that comes really.
Sometimes I can't help myself. One of our other followers, Amanda, who's come for a couple of our episodes, she may be watching today, I don't know for sure, but she sent me a picture of them watching our show the next day. So I think it was Tuesday, and they had freeze framed it, and my face was like I can't help the face I make sometimes. But you know, and I think she said she updated it to be my picture. So when I text or call her, that's the picture. Like, so maybe
now we have to make sure of the faces we make.
Yeah.
Like we always look pretty.
Every episode, I'll give a flash of the crazy face. So then, if she wants to update it to, you know,
how
the next
funny.
crazy face.
All right, so Gabe, if you're still here, Wayne's going to read for you.
All right, Gabe. So it's very interesting. I know I've read for you previously before. Glad that you're here. It's interesting. Your first card that comes up, I feel like if we went back, I mean, we have the ability to, I don't know if it would be all that worthwhile to, but I feel like this card has shown up for you before in the past. And this gives me almost like life journeying vibes. So, and I, as Daniel said, we've already said a bunch of times, Christian said it too, I say this with love. It feels like there has been a lot of struggle in your life, and that this has been a common theme for you, where you're having to struggle in work, in relationships, in having what you want to manifest come through, and have it come through in a way that is easy, right? That's what the struggle is for you to a degree. And I feel like you have done so much work around this, and there is a lot that is here for you now. So the message that comes with just this card specifically, and then I'll read into the rest of it, is this sense of recognizing that where it feels like it's always like you're having to take 2 steps forward, 1 step back. I feel like you are coming into a time and an era now where this will be an energy of the past, and that things will flow more easily for you too. I want to also speak to what Daniel had said earlier as well too, of this sense of like, once he's made it, once he's there, he's the boss. He's the one that is responsible for steering the ship now. And I feel like this energy is coming for you very soon, if not already making itself known to you. So this is a key pivotal time for you, where I want you to recognize you have done your work so consistently. And I feel like every time you recognize it's 2 steps forwards, 1 step back. So it's almost like you're preparing for that step back, 2 steps forward, but you know you're making progress. And very soon, I think that you'll come to a point where you're not going to have to worry about that taking a step back anymore, that you'll have more effortless moving forward. So with that, it's important that you recognize who are you surrounding yourself with to come along with you as you become more effective in what it is that you're wanting to manifest and what you're bringing into life. Because there is this opportunity for you right now. You have the Emperor as your theme card, affecting your past, present, and future, of what do you want your kingdom to look like? I feel like up to a certain point, a lot of the way that your kingdom is built, the way that you're living your life, has been out of this necessity of level up, level up, level up. So a lot of what you're expressing now is based on a foundation that doesn't necessarily feel like it serves you anymore. I think there's an opportunity for you to have a different perspective on what you're doing. And so recent past affecting your present, you have the High Priestess reversed. So I think that there's been some emotional upheaval. I know I've spoken to the astrology that's happened lately. I don't think that you have escaped that by any means. I think, you know, and I think you said too, yeah, you're a Cancer as well too. So deep emotions that you feel. And so it's recognizing, how can I allow myself to release these emotional beliefs about myself? This is the way I'm always going to feel, because you have the world at the current influences, and it's reversed. So it's the world is shifting in a way that I think is unexpected for you. But what I love for you, future influences card, you have the Empress, which represents abundance in all forms, mental, emotional, spiritual, physical. So this is flowing in for you. This is what's giving me that sense of no longer 2 steps back, but just 2 steps forward, another step forward, 2 steps forward. And part of what I also reason that I feel this for you. Your internal influences card is the 10 of Swords. So this is a karmic cycle being completed, being done. You've done the work that you've needed to. The struggle no longer needs to be a struggle anymore. So what's interesting is the universe is now challenging you to do something other than what you've been doing. Because when that struggle comes up, you know, okay, I just have to battle a little bit harder, battle smarter. But now what's going to be coming is opportunities for more creativity, opportunities for more traction being made. And so I think this is where this is really important, that you have that work-life balance and get yourself out of that mentality that I always have to struggle to survive or struggle to move forward. There's a sense of thriving coming in for you. What the tarot would guide you to do, and this is interesting how this kind of came up at the start too, you have the 6 of Wands as your guidance, and you had the 5 of Wands, I'm sorry, 7 of Wands as your current influences. So with this, I feel like there's this sense of who are you surrounding yourself with and who deserves to be able to move forward with you. And it's not deserves because other people are undeserving, but who's been doing the work for you? Who's been there and showing up in the ways that are significant to assist you in moving forward in life and giving you emotional support, mental support, physical support, spiritual support. All of those people, it's recognizing who those are and allowing them to come along with you and creating, I wouldn't say like a barrier, but letting those go that always expect from you without really contributing or having an equal energy that is put back to you. And then lastly, your outcome card is the card of strength. So you have been powering through for so long and you are so strong in what you're capable of. So don't be surprised if it's revealing itself now or over the next few weeks coming into January, but there is a really strong way for you to move forward without having to constantly struggle like it feels like has been a theme for most of your life. So I will leave you with that.
Cool. Yes, you have read Forgave several times, and I kind of like that it always like connects with you. I feel like we create these stories with folks. Like I don't know if this happens to you. I always have like these mental file cabinets. Like I don't remember what I tell them off record or offline, but whenever they come back on the show or whenever I read for them again somewhere, I'm like, oh yeah, hold on. Here's your file. We talked about this. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and actually I came up with a lot of clients that I read for at the shop. I find myself, I have to remind them because like I see the face. Once I see the face, I hug them. I'm like, oh, I remember you. I know you, but I don't really remember. Like, and because when I connect with them and whatever intuitive information is coming through, it really is channeled. So until the reading starts, until I'm sitting down, I'm shuffling, I'm connecting to their energy intentionally. Once that happens, then it's suddenly like, oh, that's right. I remember we talked about this, but it's like in session. That's when I have all the information because I'm so connected to spirit. But when I step out of it, it's like, I can't remember anything that we talked about with this person.
Yep.
So it's interesting how that kind of happens. Yes.
So we have 2 more people, and then that should bring us to the end of the show. I'll take Jesus, who's my compadre. And then Ray is on hold. So Ray, don't go anywhere. Wayne will be with you right after Hi, compadre. So let's see what's going on with you right now. For everybody, this is my godson's dad. So I just love them. Tell the truth, this is in your foundation. So we are coming to the point where we are releasing a lot of those untruths, a lot of those things, letting go of what you're not and accepting what you are. And this can be personal or professional, but just letting go of like, okay, I don't want to be this anymore. This is the direction that I want to go. Because in your today, it's about detoxing. And there is, just like everything we talked about, just like financial, there's mental, physical, and spiritual detox. So what ideas are you letting go? What is your body letting go of? And what are you spiritually letting go of? Because in your tomorrow, you can decide the direction of where you're going. Yes. Does the universe, God, life have control over a lot of things? Of course they do. But you have control about how you want to move forward. It doesn't matter what the sign says, you know what I mean? Like you could be at a stoplight and it doesn't matter if it's green, red, or yellow, you decide if you push the gas or not. So you're at that point right now where you're letting go, shedding some of the untruths to develop who you want to be. But you can decide what's going to happen because in your heart, the rebel that's in your spirit, this is your spirit, the rebel that was in your spirit is kind of starting to go away. And we were talking about this earlier in the show, being comfortable in the uncomfortableness. maybe you were in the uncomfortableness for so long that it became normal. It became normal to not be enough, to not be the one, to not succeed, but what if you are the one? What if you are meant to succeed? What if you are meant to be way more than you thought you were going to be? And then in your heart, invest in your spirit. It's upside down, but this is about taking some time and bringing it into you. I know from the situation and the children, sometimes it's difficult, but there has to be a moment, whoever you are, mother, father, grandparents, there's a moment where you've got to take some time for you. And then finally, just knowing that you're safe, that no matter what that detox reveals, you are going to be okay. There is the truth managed carefully. And when I bring Wayne on, we'll talk about this for a second. But when the truth is set free with love and care and not non-judgmental, it will work for us. I mean, it happens to a lot of us. And see, it's time to talk to some experts. And although we are the experts, but it's really like a therapist, a priest, somebody who has the capability to help you disconnect from those old ideas that were put in your head. So let's tell the truth so you can start investing in your spirit, knowing that you are safe and that little bit of rebel that you have in you is going to help you out, because you can decide the outcome, but it's time to let go of some of those past ideas and become the expert that you want to become. I feel like we're going back to what we talked about in the beginning. We're so comfortable in our uncomfortableness that we feel like we don't deserve more. We don't need more. Like people before me did it, and they were having my parents. We're not looking for life purpose. We're just looking to get through life. And is that really like what you want to do? Does that make sense?
Yes. With what you said, I feel like it's that sense of truth seeking, which is the Sagittarius energy of recognizing true, like what is truth. We could have this whole philosophical conversation of what is truth, what is true to me, what is true to you. We may have truths that are mutual truths that make sense, and there may be truths that I hold that do not make sense to you. And so it's recognizing at any given time what was true to me at one moment may not be true now as well too. But it's, I think, asking that question, and again, that seeking of authenticity, right? Am I my most authentic self in this? Are there past aspects of myself that are holding me back from fully realizing what's happening in this moment for me to be grateful so that I can shift in that other direction? So it's interesting when, and it's like to kind of tack on to what you said too with like the ask the expert. Sometimes it's good to ask the people around us, and like, this is the situation I'm going through. Do you think I'm seeing this clearly? It's a way for you to get an outside perspective if you're feeling that you're not seeing the whole truth of the situation, or you're really struggling with it. Someone that you care about is going to deliver that message in a way that may be hard to hear, but it may be something that will help shift you and give you a realization that's going to help you in growing moving forward. So it gives me that vibe.
Cool. Thank you. All right. So we're going to do Ray, and then we'll close out the show.
Beautiful. All right, Ray. So interesting. And I see you, you're a Capricorn. So we have another goat. We actually just read for Gabe too. We've got 2 crabs, 2 goats, and Sagittarius. So we have the Archer too, with Iris being here present previously. So with that said, Ray, the heart of your spread, the heart of your situation, you have the world. So there's a sense of understanding and accomplishment that you've come to up to this point. I feel like there's a really strong satisfaction with what you've been able to accomplish. This gives me career vibes. This gives me both career and personal, home, family, friends vibes as well too, that there's a lot of accomplishment and a lot of hard work that you've done to get to where you're at this point. And so it's interesting. I'm also being reminded again of what kind of Daniel spoke to at the beginning of the show with the 4 of Swords as your crossing card. There's this sense of I feel like you've hit a certain level, a certain goal, a certain way of where you've wanted to be in the future. And so now it kind of becomes this process of, what do I do next? Where do I want to go? What do I want to do? Because I know that Capricorn energy too may not be satisfied just doing the same thing over and over again. Or, if you have a business model, Capricorns are going to have that millionaire mindset where I need 6 to 7 streams of income. So I feel like there's an opportunity for you to kind of look at the world from fresh eyes, and what other ways do you want to make an impact? Because I feel like a lot of the work you've done has been impactful, not just for yourself, but for if you have clients, the people that maybe work underneath you, with you, alongside you. So there's that appreciation for it, but there's definitely a fresh start coming for you. You have the Fool as your theme card affecting your past, present, and future. So there's new opportunities that are presenting themselves. And intuitively, again, whereas sometimes it's like those opportunities need to be presented often from other people, from other organizations. To me, this feels like opportunities that you start, that are ground up from you, because you have the understanding, you have the knowledge, you have the skill. And with that said, people appreciate the work that you do. You have the Three of Pentacles in your past influences position. So people understand the value that you create, the value that you bring. And they're realizing that even more now into the present. You have the Eight of Pentacles. So 8 is that number of abundance, not just in money, but in abundance in all things. So you really have put in hard work in moving forward. And your future influences card, you have as the Hierophant. So I feel like there may be some ways that you want to challenge current spirituality, challenge current spiritual thinking, or I feel like there's an energy of questioning your spirituality at this point. So I feel like it has worked for you up to a certain point, but now it's like you've hit this level and this peak. And so it's, what can I do to further understand my spirituality more, to question it, to bring in more awareness, is really what it feels like. Internal influences, what you have control over, you have the Page of Cups. So I would say at this time, there is likely, it's interesting, some emotions coming up around what you've accomplished thus far, and feeling a sense of accomplishment. But then also I feel like there's still some doubts of, I feel like I should do more. I feel like I should have done more up to this point. But the universe is helping you to realize the ways that you have really created value and created worth, and recognizing the path that it took you to get to where you're at. So with that said, the guidance from the tarot, you have the another 8, abundance, 8 of Cups, which is about leaving behind an emotional situation that's no longer serving you. So I feel like the foundation of whatever work you've done that you've been successful with up to this point, it came out of a sense of loss, a sense of challenge, a sense of something that you had to come up against and overcome. And so I feel like there is this marked point in your life now where you have accomplished that. You have accomplished that and really done your work around that. So now it's about stepping away from that as a goal, as this is where I'm at. And with your outcome card, you have the Death card reversed. It's now being able to create from a space that's not from challenge or regret or challenge when you were young. So this is interesting because I feel like you're going to be able to create even more moving forward. And now it's the difference for you is this feeling of emotional groundedness, and that it's coming from a space simply of wanting to be of service and not of healing something within yourself. And that's the other thing, is to acknowledge that you have healed this huge aspect of your life that has been a challenge for you through the work that you've done. So I will leave you with that.
Awesome. Ray is one of my dearest, oldest friends. As I'm listening, I'm like, oh yeah, that's so him. That is so him. Interesting.
You goats, you're all the same. I'm just kidding.
How dare you, sir? Yeah. Before we go, let me show your last 2 banners.
Perfect. Our regular viewers will be used to these. So all of my services, I won't read step by step, but if you're feeling blocked, if you're feeling like there's some way that you're wanting to progress, move forward, receive messages that you haven't, intuitive tarot reading would be great with me, energy healing. We're also coming into the new year, so space clearing is something that can be very helpful in clearing out this year's energy and setting new intentions for moving forward. So there's a lot of opportunities to work with me. You can find out more information specifically on each of my services on my website, rwk2.com, which leads me to my album as well too. So I have my guided meditation album, or what I call Meditative Quest. This is a Rehu Tech energy infused album. The Sagittarius one is out, and this is available for purchase on my website. It comes with 3 tracks, a body scan meditation that's energy infused to help you get into a really great state for meditation. So you can use that in tandem with the this guided meditation or others. Then there's the actual zodiac sign guided meditation. And then the 3rd track is a sleep track that you can play before going to bed or falling asleep too. That is also energy infused. I've gotten really great feedback from a couple people who have purchased it and utilize it for sleep. And they were telling me how they go to sleep and with the music playing and they wake up and they definitely feel like they've been shifted. like a healing through the night. So if you're interested, that's available for purchase and immediate download on my website on rwk2.com.
Cool, thank you. I'm waiting for Capricorn.
Yes, it's coming up soon.
For those of you that are looking for transpersonal coaching or life coaching or spiritual coaching, I forgot what I was saying, you can find me. This is the alignment, which is what we do at the beginning of the show. But if you want a one-on-one, you have a group that wants to do it together, or you work for a company that wants to do some team building exercises, please contact me. You go to thealignment.net where you can sign up and it will send me a direct message. Remember, we have our shows during the week. On Mondays, we have the Crab and Goat Show. On Wednesdays, it's the Christian and Daniel Show. And on Saturdays, it's put together live stream where we have a new guest every week. Also, if you're interested, Grumpy Bunny in the Colors game, we still have copies, $20 signed and delivered. Or you can go by Awakenings in Laguna Hills or Visions and Dreams in Costa Mesa and get your copies. If you don't have them, ask them for it and let them know, and we will make sure to bring them by. Otherwise, if you have any more questions, also, we're self-funding show, so if you got a reading and you'd like to donate to us, please, that is the Venmo, and I make sure to share our tips and our donations, so those are accepted, and thank you. You will be funding Little Mexican Productions, Inc., so we appreciate it. And if you're making a large donation and would like an invoice on your donation, we're happy to do that as well. Anything else before we go?
I would say just reflecting on the energy of this week, the spread that I've pulled for this upcoming week, just know there's going to be a lot of mental activity, a lot of maybe some challenges with that. So know that all of these situations that are unfolding over this next week are all to inform you of why certain things are happening, what's been happening for you. So just be open to it. As we come into this full moon, it's really going to be a great time of culmination and being able to start releasing that which we've really been having come up emotionally over the past 2 weeks, if not the last month.
Thank you so much for everybody who joined us. Thank you, Christian, for being our very first guest. We will be having more guests coming on to the show. The holidays are coming, so we will discuss among us if we're going to be here for the holidays or not, but we'll let you know next week. Other than that, good vibes going your way. Have a great time, and we'll see you soon. Bye.